Hey, how's it going? I want to do another Facebook Live on more information for us to learn, because there's always new information coming in, and you might guys already know it, but I need to learn it and relearn it. So I do these lives actually for me. I do them for me, so I can, one of the best ways to help yourself learn is to teach, is to talk to other people, because when I talk and do these lives, for example, and when I preach on Facebook, a lot of what I post, it helps you, but actually it's just relearning. It's stuff that I know, but I want to make certain in my brain. So that's why I'm going to just put out information, yeah? Keep putting out information, important information for my own knowledge, so I become more certain in what I know, because I know the information I'm learning is 100% correct now. There's no, like 95% certainty. As I grow in experience, I read the books and I experiment myself with the alkaline oxygen and the age urine. I know in my heart that what I'm learning in the books, is true. So I'm reading the books, I'm seeing if that information correlates with my experiences with age urine, which is, quite frankly, the most potent alkaline the most potent alkaline substance on Earth. Yeah, bicarbonate soda's pH 9, ammonia's pH 11. This age urine, in a couple of weeks, gets to pH 14. The most alkaline medicinal substance on Earth. It's not only just got high alkalinity, it's got all the goodies in there. It's got the stem cell proliferation, etc., etc. But I do want to, talk about one specific thing I'm learning with alkaline oxygen, which is really important, which you guys already know. It's the best book, Paul. Oh God, that's a great question. You know what? There's a couple. I actually started out. I wouldn't say this is the best book on urine therapy alone, because it's not just about urine therapy, but the book that started me off, I think it's a great read, is Barbara Wren's Cellular Awakening by Barbara Wren. She's got 2 or 3 books. That's her first one. I highly recommend that book, actually. It's got a lot of information on the cells and light and her protocols. She talks about hot and cold showering. She talks about castor oil packing, very powerful, and there's a little section there on urine therapy. But that's not the best. I recommend that book anyway, but the best book is Martha Christie's Your Own Perfect Medicine, because that's the book. I read The Cellular Awakening on urine therapy, and I thought, okay, this is interesting. And then I went on Amazon, customer recommendations, customers, other items customer bought when they bought Cellular Awakening, and one of them was Martha Christie's Your Own Perfect Medicine. I was like, what's this, Your Own Perfect Medicine? Sounds interesting. I didn't know it was a urine therapy at the time. And yeah, it was about urine therapy. So I sat in the park, I'll never forget it, and I read this book, and I was like, coming from the point of view of nothing about urine, I just thought it was a waste product like everybody else, right? And I read this book and all the science in it, because literally there's a lot of science to urea and all the medicinal values and stuff that's been suppressed on purpose by Big Pharma. But it's been done. They've done a lot of studies between 1900s and 1960s and 1970s. Did a load of studies, and that book is full to the brim with studies on why urine and urea and all these hormones and vitamins and minerals and the anti-cancer elements. It's got like a lot of studies on this. They've extracted them, like the anti-neoplastins in the urine. Dr. Baginski's extracted that. The book talks about that, and Martha Christie's Your Own Perfect Medicine. There's like 7 or 8 extractions of the urine which have medically been done, scientifically proven studies, and they've taken those 7 substances. One of them's DHEA, anti-cancer. There's HUD, I think one of them's called HUD, anti-neoplastins, and REN1. I forget the names of them, but yeah, man, that's just one aspect of it. The book's like full to the brim with urea. There's also studies in there on comparing urea with moisturizer creams, just commercial ones, and they've done scientific studies and proven that urea is way more powerful, in the urine and all this stuff. There's loads of stuff in that book, and you know what? I've read it 3 or 4 times, and I never get bored of rereading it. If I went to reread it tomorrow, I'd still enjoy it. I love that book forever and a day. But I'm sidetracking a little bit. Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, let's look at one piece of information about alkaline oxygen, because you know what? If I had to sum up health in 2 words, how would I do it? That's how I do it. I'd say alkaline oxygen. That's it. Once you alkalize, once you oxygenate, you can be as healthy as you can possibly be. Health is simple. Alkaline oxygen. But anyway, the blood pH, this is the information we'll get. Blood pH more or less stays the same. I believe this is true. So the pH of the blood always stays to the same degree. Now the problem with disease, states of disease and states of health, is that the cell pH does not. And this correlates with Dr. Morse's information about that, and people that talk about the lymph. The lymph acid waste don't stay the same as well. People that have got improper lymph flow have more acid in the, the lymphatic ducts and the capillaries. right? But the cell pH is what does not stay the same. This also correlates with the information that we get from Dr. Warburg about cancer, who says that cancer cannot grow in an alkaline and acidic state. In acidic and under 30% oxygen state. So cancer can't thrive when you alkalize and oxygenate. And what he's referring to is the cells. He's not referring to the blood. The blood pH stays the same. Not only does the blood pH stay the same, the level. Okay, get this. Learn this today. It's very true. The oxygen content of pretty much everybody, including unhealthy people, is the same. The blood oxygen saturation. Yeah, people don't go lie to hear this, but it's true. Everyone has the same oxygen content in the blood, and you can prove it. Go and buy a pulse oximeter on Amazon that costs £30-40, $30, $40, $50 in American. Very cheap. You put it on your hand, and it's what they use in hospitals, yeah, all the time. People are hooked up to stupid shit like this. But anyway, you buy one of these pulse. I used to have one. You buy these pulse oximeters, put on your fingertips, leave it for a couple of seconds, and it will tell you the oxygen saturation of your blood. And practically everybody, even people that are friends and family and people on the streets that are unhealthy, don't look after themselves, they have the same amount of oxygen saturation in the blood as you and me. It's between 95 and 98%. So that's not the problem. And by the way, it's not everybody. People with COPD and serious lung issues, asthma, heavy asthma, don't. But the majority, even majority unhealthy, have the same as you and me. Oxygen in the blood. So let's keep it simple. People have the same oxygen in the blood. Now what differs is they don't have the same oxygen. They don't have the alkalinity. So they have less oxygen and more acidic in the cells. So that's the trick. We want to be consuming alkaline substances and oxygenating our system, either or both, so that we can get more oxygen into the cells. Because we all have the same oxygen in the blood. But the issue is, the oxygen that everyone has in the blood isn't getting into the cells. And that's the key, because that's what causes cancer, lack of oxygen and acidic. It also causes every other disease under the sun, not just cancer. Yeah, every disease is caused by acid and lack of oxygen, and every disease can be cured by alkaline and oxygen. And even if what I'm saying is not true, go with it, because, you know, I'm talking about the majority of things. It's going to be outliers for everything, so let's go for that. And that's the key. You want to be focusing on how to extract oxygen from the blood, which everyone has the same amount of oxygen. You want to get that into the cells. So if unhealthy people, there's something stopping them. There's something stopping unhealthy people getting the same amount of oxygen they got as you and me, the unhealthy people, yeah? They've got the same amount of oxygen. There's something stopping them getting the oxygen from the blood into the cells. It's not transferring from the red blood cells into the cells themselves, the little mitochondria, the cells, the billions of cells that we got in our body. It's not getting transferred. Why? Mainly because they eat acid foods. Mainly because they don't exercise. Exercise oxygenates. When you exercise, you oxygenate. When you oxygenate, you alkalize. So exercise is effectively alkalizing, by the way. Exercise is oxygenating and alkalizing. So they're eating acid. They're eating acidic foods. That chokes the oxygen. So the oxygen is still the same as you as me, but it's not going to get to the cells. The acidic foods goes into their bloodstream. The blood pH stays the same. And then that acid is passed down from the acidic foods, is passed onto the cellular level. Like a fluid surrounding the cells, but it's all acidic. We don't want that. We want the fluid around our cells to be alkaline. Because therefore, when the fluid around the cells of our body is alkaline, it's got more oxygen in it. And that oxygen, okay, this is going to get complicated, kind of complicated. But when we have when we flood our body, we eat alkaline fruits, for example. That's a great example. When we drink alkaline urine, another great example. When we fast, we're alkalizing the fluid around the cells. So yeah, when we alkalize the fluid around the cells, what we're doing is we're allowing the oxygen from the blood to get into the cells. So with the alkaline fluid, the oxygen gets into the cells, and it's the oxygen that does the damage to the unhealthy cells and makes us better. Because the oxygen is the key factor in removing all acid waste from the body, by the way. It's oxygen. So when we flood our body with alkaline, this alkaline fluid sits around the cells, and it means automatically that the oxygen from the blood can get to the cells, man. And once the oxygen, when we flood our body with alkaline oxygen, it gets into those cells, It removes all the acid waste. People complicate things. The way we remove acid waste primarily is oxygen. Oxygen. That's why exercise works. What are you doing when you exercise? You're oxygenating your body. When you're alkalizing fruits. When you're fasting, returning to a homeostasis, to alkaline. It's all oxygen. And what other people are doing when they eat acid foods is the acidic wastes are going from the blood, are surrounding the cells, and they're not allowing oxygen in. Acid will choke the oxygen. If there was any oxygen in and around the cells, keeping it clean, when you eat acidic foods too much and you never fast, like the mainstream out there, holy shit, they're like depriving themselves of oxygen. The cell had oxygen, and now the acid wastes are coming there and taking away the oxygen. It's like, imagine yourself like choking, man. You're killing yourself. You're killing yourself as soon as you eat acid foods and you don't fast it off. Yeah, you're absolutely killing yourself. That's where everyone's out there. Primary cause of disease, in my opinion. Normal people do exercise, you know. They walk around, not enough, but I mean they do. Primary reason why they get disease is because they eat too much and never fast. And most of the foods they eat are acid. So they might be eating a couple of fruits and veggies, but they're eating mostly crap. And they're eating too much, so they're eating never one meal a day. They're always eating 3 meals plus snacks. What the fuck's up with that? You know, that's a really sad state of affairs. They've never heard of fasting, never gone 24 hours without eating or drinking. They've never done a water fast, they've never done a dry fast. You know, that's crazy. But that's literally what I want to say. Like, when the blood pH and the oxygen levels in the blood always stay the same. Like I said, you can prove it. Go and buy a pulse oximeter. And do it on an unhealthy person, yeah? Someone that is not into detox. Some of your friends and family. Go and do it. And they'll have the same blood oxygen saturation as you. 95 to 98%. So it's not a problem of oxygen in the blood. It's a problem of oxygen getting into the cells. And you know what? To plug it again, the number one way to get oxygen into the cells, it's always going to be a urine at pH +9 quite a bit. Once you get the higher pH this shit gets, the Shivambu, it's why you deep breathe instantly after you drink it. It's why you can't sleep if you take it before bed, because you don't need to sleep. Once you flood your body with oxygen, once you drink this, it allows the oxygen into the cells. The oxygen that you already had in your blood is allowed. More of it is allowed into the cells. You know, and a lot more. Not a little bit more. Enough to make you go... It's like taking drugs a little bit. When you take a sip of this, you go like, whoa, it's too much energy. Like, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not really. I've seen my face off, and I've seen when I was interviewing people like Jack on Sunday when he dropped that shit, and like, you know, I've seen people take ATRN and what their faces look like a couple of seconds after. It's funny, man. You're like, whoa, your eyes go like light up, and you can feel this burning. Like, not painful, unless you drop the nose, but yeah, man, you're just allowing more oxygen into the cells. And what does oxygen do when it gets into the cells? It creates more energy. It gives the mitochondria what it needs to create ATP. So that's cool. That's where the energy comes from, but also it's a double whammy. So the oxygen is needed for the mitochondria to create energy, isn't it? Oxygen's needed. That's part of the Krebs cycle. That's the one factor. Number two factor, oxygen is the number one factor that removes acid waste from your system. So it's double whammy. Gives you energy, ATP, takes out all of the acid crap from the cellular level. Let me repeat. Alkaline and oxygen, when you flood your cells with that, takes away all the acid waste from the cellular level. If you're taking acid waste from the cellular level, it's automatic. You're cleaning out the lymph, you're cleaning out everything. Because the cellular level, the microscopic cells, if you clean that stuff out, you're going to be healthy. Alright? You're going to be healthy. On that note, thank you guys for watching, and hope you've done something today. And buy a pulse oximeter and see what I'm talking about, yeah? It's all about changing the alkaline and getting the alkaline oxygen into the cells of the body, because everyone has the same amount of oxygen in their blood system, but it's just with unhealthy people, they're not getting the oxygen into the cellular level. Whereas when we do detox, and we do alkaline fruits, and we do fasting, and we do age urine, and we do exercise, we're oxygenating, alkalizing, we're getting oxygen, alkaline fluids into the cellular level, and that's the one that makes all the difference. Not just for cancer, but for every single disease. Alright, that's it. Peace. I love you.